They are called immortal, and for a long time even they believed it. The elves of Middle-earth do not fall to sickness, nor are they claimed by age. Their bodies do not bend beneath the years, and time does not carve its marks into their flesh as it does to others. To those who watch them from afar, this seems like victory over death itself, a life without decay, a spirit untouched by endings, an existence free from the fear that haunts all mortal hearts. But in Tolkien's world, immortality does not mean what mortals imagine it means. It is not freedom from loss, it is not protection from sorrow, and it is not escape from death. It is something quieter, something less visible, and far heavier. The elves were bound to the life of the world. As long as the world endures, so must they. Their fate is not measured in years or lifetimes, but in the slow, immeasurable aging of Arda itself. They awaken into a young creation when the world is still fresh, when the first light has not yet faded, and when time has not learned how to wound. In those early ages, immortality feels like a gift. Memory is light. Time moves gently. Nothing precious is truly lost, because nothing has yet learned how to pass away. The elves walk beneath the stars with the certainty that tomorrow will resemble today. They learn, they create, they love, and they believe that all of it will last. Yet time does not stop. It only continues. As the ages pass, the world begins to change. Mountains wear down, not suddenly, but so slowly that only those who live through centuries can see it. Forests thin, shores retreat, rivers alter their paths. Kingdoms rise, flourish, burn, and vanish into memory. The world grows older, heavier, quieter. And they remain. They remain unchanged in form, but not untouched. Every joy they have known is carried forward, every triumph remembered in perfect clarity, and so is every loss, every farewell, every death they have witnessed. What mortals leave behind with time, the elves are forced to carry with them forever. What cannot be forgotten cannot heal. Mortals suffer sharply but briefly. Their grief burns hot, then cools, carried away by years they will never live to see. Time, for mortals, is both enemy and mercy. It wounds, but it also closes wounds. The elves do not have that mercy. Their sorrow does not fade with years. It settles, it layers. It becomes part of who they are. They watch friends die, not once, but again and again. They watch children grow old, while they themselves remain unchanged. They watch lovers fade and leave the world forever, knowing they will remember them with perfect clarity long after all traces are gone. And they remain. At first, they believe endurance is strength. They believe that carrying memory is wisdom. And in a way, it is. But wisdom gained without release becomes weight. Each loss adds another stone to a burden that never grows lighter. Each passing age presses harder against the same unchanging self. This is why the elves do not truly live in the present. They live surrounded by echoes. Every place is haunted by what once was. Every road leads not only forward but backward into countless remembered moments. Every song recalls an older song. Every joy echoes an earlier joy that can never return. Immortality freezes the self while the world moves on. Over time, creation itself becomes a burden. The elves do not build for the future as men do. They do not shape the world in expectation of what will come after them. They preserve, they guard. They try to hold the world as it once was, because they know that once something passes, it will never return in the same way. Their art grows more perfect, but also more still. Their beauty becomes timeless and slowly detached from life itself. What they create no longer seeks change but preservation. Not growth, but memless. They are not deathless in the way mortals imagine. They are slowly being left behind. As the power of the world diminishes, so too does the place of the elves within it. Not because they are weak, but because the world itself is changing its nature. Magic recedes, wonder thins. The deep harmony that once bound creation together grows faint. The elves feel this change more sharply than any other people, because they remember the world as it was. They do not age, but they grow weary. This weariness is not of the body, but of the spirit. It is the fatigue of endless endurance, of standing watch over a world that no longer answers them, of seeing beauty decline without the power to renew it, of remembering too much for too long. They fade. This fading is not sudden. It is not violent. It is not marked by blood or fire. It is slow, quiet, and inevitable. As the ages pass, the elves become less present in the world, less able to shape events, less connected to what comes next. They do not vanish all at once. They thin like mist beneath a rising sun. They are not dying as mortals die. They are being outlived by the world itself. Men, watching from afar, envy the elves. They see endless time and mistake it for endless hope. They believe that if only they could live longer, all wounds would heal, all knowledge would be gained, all loss undone. To mortals, time appears as a resource, something that can be spent, saved, or wasted. But what mortals truly desire is not endless time, it is relief from fear. The fear that there is not enough time. The fear that meaning will be lost. The fear that love will end too soon. Men live knowing that their days are numbered. This knowledge shapes everything they do. It sharpens joy. It deepens grief. It gives weight to choice. A mortal life is brief, but dense with meaning because it cannot be repeated. Elves do not possess this urgency. They do not wake each day knowing it might be their last. What can be done tomorrow need not be done today. What is lost may be endured. What is broken may be remembered forever. And over endless ages, this patience becomes its own kind of suffering. Mortality teaches mortals to act. Immortality teaches elves to endure. And endurance without release becomes pain. Yet even this acceptance does not end their suffering, for memory does not loosen its grip simply because the world has been left behind. The elves carry Middle-earth within them. Every forest they walked beneath, every river whose sound they learned by heart, every city whose stones once shone with living light. Even when they depart, these places do not fade from their minds. Mortals leave memory behind. They pass into stories, into names spoken by others. Over time, even those names soften and blur. Pain dulls. Loss grows distant. But the elves do not pass into memory. Memory passes into them. They remember forests that have turned to dust. They remember songs no voice now sings. They remember a world that will never return. And remembering does not bring comfort. It brings comparison. Every new age is measured against the old and found wanting. Every new beauty is weighed against a greater beauty that once was. The present can never fully satisfy those who have seen the past in its fullness. This is why the elves grow distant. Not arrogant, not cold, but removed. They speak less, not because they have nothing to say, but because words have lost their urgency. They act less, not because they are powerless, but because action no longer promises renewal. The future holds no surprise for those who have seen so many futures rise and fall before. Time has taught them too well. In this way, immortality does not preserve hope. It erodes it. Hope, for mortals, is tied to possibility, to the belief that tomorrow may be better because tomorrow has not yet been seen. For the elves, tomorrow is never truly unknown. It is only another step along a road they have already walked too many times. They have watched ages begin with promise, only to end in loss. They have watched great works crumble. They have watched triumph fade into memory. This is the sorrow that cannot be sung away. The elves are patient, not because they wish to be, but because they must be. The world does not pause for them. It does not slow. It simply continues, slowly wearing itself down while they watch, unable to follow, unable to stop it, unable to leave until remaining becomes the greater loss. This is why their departure feels like sorrow, not victory. They leave not because they are defeated, but because they can no longer belong. The world has changed too much, and they have changed too little. Immortality has preserved them past the point where preservation is mercy. In the end, immortality does not mean living forever. It means living too long. Too long to forget. Too long to begin again. Too long to feel at home in a world that no longer reflects what one is. They are not deathless. They are bound to time. And in the end, that bond proves heavier than mortality itself. If you wish to explore even deeper into the ancient history of Arda, go watch our next video about Sauron and what he really wanted. Thank you for watching, and if you want more tales from Middle-earth, join us and subscribe so you don't miss the next story.